Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Bible teaching snippet of the day. Well, today I want to go a little bit deeper and talk a little more about yesterday's teaching. I titled that teaching yesterday, My Bible Says It, so that settles it. Lord, I wish I had $1 for every time I heard a religious person say that. I would have been debt-free years ago. And also, I've also heard that the Bible is an owner's manual that we can use to live by. Now, with that statement, I want to make sure I say this in this video. I believe that we can live by what Jesus taught, but I do not believe that the Bible is an owner's manual, that 66-book collection of specific scriptures in our American Bibles. And the reason I say that is because, and I know our churches don't like to say this, we like to say that there's no contradictions in the Bible, but this is what I'm trying to show you. Jesus knew that there was religious contradictions, and that is the reason that he was trying to correct some misunderstandings that people had about the goodness of his Father. But as far as the 66, I call it, and look, you got to love me where I'm at, I call it the limited 66 edition of our American Bibles. Did you know that the Old Testament definitely should never be a manual for us to live by? And the reason I'm telling you this is because many times Christianity, if you want to call it that, religious belief systems that's established and defended through the Old Testament is horrendous. Religious groups have used the Old Testament as legal standing that they're doing God's will by killing and causing genocide to other people groups. Yes, slavery in America was a huge, huge issue. Why? Because people used the Bible as a grounds of saying it is perfectly legal, and not just legal, that it's moral and ethical for someone to own other human beings and keep them in slavery, to rape them and to beat them and sell their children out from under them and everything because it's in the Bible. Now, you can check all this history if you'd want to, and please do. I love it when people go behind me and study on their own. I don't ever ask anybody to believe the things that I teach. What I do is I teach what I have studied, okay? And I present that to people, and then I encourage you to go out and study on your own. But you got the Inquisitions with the Roman Catholic Church, where they would, anybody that did not believe what they said people could believe as far as Christianity, they would go out and burn and kill and destroy all of those people, their children, their wives. They would burn the cities down, and any writings that did not line up with what the Roman Catholic Church had started publishing and putting out, they would burn those teachings and writings as well. Okay, so the owner's manual part, guys, I want to make sure we understand this. From my teaching yesterday, just let me show you some of them, and look, you can sit here and tell me that it's okay, that it's ethical and moral to own other people. It's ethical and moral to beat another human being. You can tell me that it's ethical and moral to stone your children because they're rebellious. I want to remind you of something. When Adam and Eve, and even the serpent, they were rebellious. Yes, in Genesis chapter 3, did you know that God did not stone Adam, Eve, or even the serpent? Nobody died that day in the garden, right? Now, let's talk about stoning adulterers. So we got to be careful when we enter into such a legalistic, literal reading, we get in trouble. But when we get legalistic with the Bible and start hammering it in a religious way, saying, oh yes, the Bible is something I can live by. My Bible says it and that settles it. So I'm going to challenge that a little bit today, okay? I'm going to go a little deeper. I want to read you, I'm going to just rip down some scriptures real quick that tells certain people to be killed. Ready? Leviticus 20:10, kill all adulterers. Exodus 22:18, kill all witches. Leviticus 24:14, kill all blasphemers. Zechariah 13:3, kill false prophets. Lord, we'd have a bloodshed going on right now because I see false prophets all over the internet all day long, every day. Facebook, YouTube, you name it, in churches. Okay, let's keep going. Kill fortune tellers, Leviticus 20:27. Kill anyone, that would include me today, who sins. That's Ezekiel 18:4. Kill the curious. That's a new one, isn't it? 1 Samuel 6:19 and 20. Kill all gay people. Well, all gay men. The Bible doesn't really even talk about that it's wrong for a woman to sleep with another woman, but it does talk about a man who sleeps with another man, that you must stone him. But that's the gays that this is listed here on this little list. It's Leviticus 20:13 and Romans 1:21 and 32. And by the way, Romans 1:21 through 32, that specific word for using their bodies for an unnatural way. Did you know that the Roman emperors would take young boys and do wild, crazy pedophilia things with them? And that specific teaching that Paul's talking about right there is talking about rich people and the emperors and people in authority using little kids as sex toys. Right there in Romans. Okay. Kill all non-Hebrews. If you're not in our group, you're supposed to be killed. That's Deuteronomy 20:16. Kill all the sons of any sinners. That's Isaiah 14:21. Kill all non-believers. 2 Chronicles 15:12. Anyone who curses God. Leviticus 24:16. Kill any child who hits their parents, Exodus 21:15. Kill children who disobey their parents, Deuteronomy 21:20. Those who work on the Sabbath, well, that would take out half of America, wouldn't it? That's found Exodus 31:15. Stone and kill disobedient children. I covered that yesterday, that Exodus 21:17. And kill strangers close to a church. So that's in Numbers 1:20, chapter 1, verse 48 through 51. Kill all males after winning the battle against them. Yeah, destroy every living being after a battle of all the losers. That's Deuteronomy 20:13. Kill those who curse their father or their mother, Leviticus 29. Kill men who have sex with other men. I just brought that up. That's Leviticus 20:13. Kill any bride discovered to be not a virgin, and that's Deuteronomy 22:21. Kill those who worship the wrong God, Numbers 25, verse 1 through 9. Kill anyone who does not observe the Sabbath. Again, it's in there. Again, Exodus 31, verse 14. And kill anybody in a town that worships the wrong God. That's another one, and it's listed yet again in Deuteronomy 13, verse 13 through 16. Do you see all of that? Okay. So if we did any of these acts today, here in America or in most civilized nations, would you be able to tell the judge or the police officer, my Bible says it and that settles it, God said for me to do that and I'm going to keep doing that? I don't think you'd get too far. You wouldn't get very far when you stood up in court. You probably couldn't even retain an attorney to represent you in court if you said, my owner's manual to live by, which is my Bible, here's a list of all these scriptures and it tells me to do these things and I have to do them. Okay. Now, the reason I want to go to the far side of this and make you see how ridiculous we sound as Christians when we say silly things to people who aren't indoctrinated to believe some really weird stuff that we've been taught to believe. So I want to talk to you just a little more for the rest of my time today, okay? You know, when I was talking to you about this yesterday, and I'm talking about this to you again today, I want to make sure that I hit this one more time. You do know that the Old Testament and even New Testament stuff that was written to another people group at another time under different cultural situations do not have anything to do with us today. Did you get that? Okay. The Bible has been used as a weapon and a tool to oppress other people, whether it be women or other people groups. We have been putting people under slavery, beating them, selling them, and all of that. It's all in your Old and New Testament, but it is not godly. And you can argue with me if you want to, but most people are going to realize this and say this as well as what I believe. Some of the stuff that went on in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament days when Paul was writing his letters. Look, guys, they're working with ancient people who have set mindsets that slowly have to be changed, and that's why that you see some things in the Old Testament being recorded. God is not trying to teach us to live that way. He's showing us what people look like who do not have His Spirit and do not live according to His Spirit. His Spirit is love. The spirit behind the law is love, and God is love. Jesus wants us to walk in God's Spirit, which is to walk in love, okay? Now, we can all agree that none of us should sell our daughters to other people for sex toys, or even for them to be exploited and used for purposes like that, or for us to even sell our daughters to someone so they can marry them at the age of 12, okay? So see, all of these things that we find in ancient times does not mean that it was moral or ethical. It means that God was trying to bring people into a knowledge of truth, okay? And who is truth? Jesus is truth. And this is where I want to go next on my teaching, okay? I want to read you some scriptures real quick because, see, I see the Bible. I don't read the Bible as a flat line where Moses said something, so that settles it and that's what it means. No, Jesus came to correct fallen man's thinking. And I'm going to show you about 10 scriptures today. I'm going to rip through them real quick, okay? John 10:15. This is about Jesus trying to show people in the Gospels that they had no clue who God the Father was. No one before Jesus or even in Jesus' day, and I would venture to say no one since the days of Jesus has fully understood the Father or intimately known His Father, unless you start walking with Jesus and you're being led by the Spirit of love. But I'm going to read you some I'm just going to highlight and run through them real quick, okay? John 10:15. Even as the Father knows me, this is Jesus talking, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. So see, Jesus says, I know the Father, and the Father knows me. John 7:29. I know Him because I am from Him, and He sent me. Moses never said that, by the way. None of the Old Testament prophets ever claimed to intimately know God the Father. Jesus comes to show us who the Father is. Matthew 11:27. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and anyone whom the Son wills to reveal Him. I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. Okay, John 17:25. O righteous Father, although the world has not known you, yet I have known you, and these have known that you sent me. You hear that? You see that, right? Okay, John 8:55. And you have not come to know Him, but I know Him. And if I say that I do not know Him, I will be a liar like you. But I do know Him, and I keep His word. These are all Jesus right here. Okay, I want to go back, like I said, real quick as my wrap-up of this little talk that I wanted to talk to you about. Because, you know, when we make... And I'm sorry if I'm offending people, but when we make ignorant statements, the world sees us making ignorant statements, and they're like going, oh, keep that mess away from me. And it ought not to be that way, guys. Christianity should not be such a messed up religion because we have Jesus to follow, and we can know the Father through Jesus. So let me talk to you about Matthew 11:27. I want to read this in the Amplified Classic because this is my favorite translation of this particular scripture. All things have been entrusted and delivered to me by my Father, and no one fully knows and accurately understands the Son except the Father, and no one fully knows and accurately understands the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son deliberately wills to make Him known. Jesus came to correct the wrong beliefs about His Father, okay? And He says that He wants the whole world to know who His Father is. And the only way that they are going to know his Father is if we pull the veil off of our eyes from the Old Testament and a bunch of religious junk that we've been taught. And let's get back to the basics of love, right? That's an old song. Let's get back to the basics, guys. Let's start believing Jesus and what Jesus taught, and let's make sure that what we're teaching people lines up with what Jesus stood for and what Jesus taught, okay? Well, I love you, and I'm going to sign off. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.